Welcome to the Caravan Show, where we discuss all things caravans. That's right, everything you need to know about caravans, from weights, towing, maintenance, appliances, renovations, buying a caravan, repairs, destinations and reviews. We'll also chat with some Aussie legends, manufacturers, suppliers and of course people who love caravans. Take it away, Roy.
G'day, it's Roy Wiss here from the Caravan Show. Now, in today's episode, I'd like to show you the new NCE, Northern City Electrics. They're a company in Melbourne, and this is one of the products that they distribute. Now, they've been kind enough to send me one of these SOUNDBARs to do a bit of a review on. So I'm going to start off by opening this box and telling you a little bit about the product. So this is a soundbar that goes with your TV set. It's rated as a 12 volt DC. It says here it's got extra bass multi-device applications, 50 watt high power, 3.5mm auxiliary, Bluetooth, yes Bluetooth, and remote control. The model is an NCE S-Bar 12BT, and it has a 12 volt DC with 2 amp. Input is 3.5 auxiliary or through the Bluetooth, and the drivers are 4x40mm. It has a 50 watt maximum and a 4 ohms impedance and 95 decibels, so that's pretty loud, and a frequency range of 80 to 20 hertz. Now, I'm just going to unbox this so we can have a bit of a look at how it comes. It says that the contents is a soundbar, remote control, the auxiliary table, the dual power cable, a mounting bracket and a mounting bracket extension kit, plus a user manual. So let's open this up and have a look inside. So I do like these unboxings, get rid of the right way. So some decent padding. Now, first thing I'm going to look at in the box is NCE's repair policy, repair and refund, return, refund and warranty policy. All the details on there, and how to mount it and how to use it, showing all the details on. And guess what? Unbelievable, it's in English. You can actually read it, and the text size is even readable. So hey, first score for that one, guys. Here's our cables. This is your auxiliary cable, 2 little jacks on there, and this is the double cable. So this is your power. So your power for your TV, 12 volt TV, goes into this one, and then this splits it. This one goes, the small one goes into your soundbar, the other one goes back into your TV. So that's how you connect your power up. Awesome. The remote control. Here we've got the power, mute button, volume up and down, forward and reverse, and your Bluetooth and your auxiliary buttons all on that one. And it's already fitted with a battery. Just pull the little tab and your battery connects. Again, another nice little one. Now, yeah, I love getting into the nitty gritty of all this. Throw that box out of the way. Here's the bar itself. Now, the bar itself feels quite weighty. It's not too heavy, not too light. And I noticed straight away it's got some good protection tabs at the bottom and at the back. So underneath here and at the back there's some tabs. I don't know if you can pick that up on the video. There and there. It feels like metal. It doesn't feel plastic at all, which is really good. The front, I'm seeing your volume control. I'll turn it around the right way for you. The volume control here, and it's got 2 speakers there, 2 speakers there, and speaker down here, and a speaker down here. Now on the back, there's a couple of mounting points here, and I'm seeing that the DC power is there, and the auxiliary is in there. So when we mount that all up, we'll give it a try and see whether or not that gives us the result we're looking for. One of the things I particularly like about this sort of unit for caravanners is this eliminates the need for you to actually have speakers built into your caravan. Now let's think about that for a second. I don't have to have speakers built into the caravan, so I don't have to have them up in the ceiling, up in overhead cupboards. I can actually have them on the soundbar. which means I also don't have to have them on the outside of the caravan, because when I take my TV outside, I can take this with me. But then again, it's also Bluetooth, which means this one device can act as the sound system for my TV, for my stereo system, inside the van, outside the van. I can also use it by plugging this into my telephone, so I can use it to get sound from a phone or an iPod or whatever, or from an iPad or an iPod, if you're still one of those of you that have been around long enough to remember iPods. So it's actually multi-purpose. Being able to be functional in that way, not having to wire speakers into the caravan on the inside or the outside, is again a weight saving, which is a big issue that I believe in, keeping the weight down as much as possible, and also reducing the wiring and messing around. It's got to be a plus. It's got to be a big plus. So I'm loving the idea of the concept of this type of thing. Now inside here, there's even more in this box, is our mounting kit. So we'll put this is an extension bracket. Takes it from TV sizes 28 to 42 inches. So for bigger ones. And this one here is the standard bracket, which goes TVs between 22 and 26 inches. So we'll have a go at mounting this all up, and we'll see how it works. So now we're going to install the brackets to the soundbar. Now on the soundbar, we've got two little sockets, one here and one here. And what happens is the screw goes in there, locks down, and then we tighten up against that. So the best way that I think that I can do that, because you don't need any tools to install this, is I'm going to use the bracket. I'm going to put my my spacer through the bracket first. Then I'm going to put the washer on, and then I'm going to put my butterfly on. Pull that all together, and simply then slot that into that slot, pull it down, and now I can tighten that up by pulling up on the bracket as I'm turning that, because I can't get a screwdriver on the other end, so I'm just putting a bit of pressure on it. And I'm going to do that, and it will actually tighten up reasonably tight. I'm not going to do it too tight, because we want a bit of flex when we install it onto the TV. So again, on the other one, just to repeat the process, we put the screw through the spacer, then we put our washer on. Now we're going to put our butterfly on, and we're going to slide that onto the soundbar, and then we're going to tighten it up a bit. And we're actually now getting somewhere fairly easily. Okay, leave that a little loose, make it easy to fit to the TV. So now we're going to fit the TV. Now to the TV, on the back of the TV there are 4 mounting points, and we can fit that soundbar directly to those mounting points if we want to. However, that won't allow us to have the bracket that goes on the wall. So I've already prepared the bracket. This is another product, by the way, from our friends at NCE, and we're going to put the bracket and attach that bracket and the soundbar at the same time. Now to do that, again, we've got some parts, and this time we actually do need a tool. We need a Phillips head screwdriver. That's the only tool we need for this entire operation, so it's pretty simple. So again, we need a spacer and we need a washer. The washer in this case has got 4 little holes in it. We can choose whichever one we want to use. That goes through the bracket, and then the spacer sits underneath it. So it sits up nice and proud, and then we simply screw that screw into there. So again, we're going to just attach these back ones to start off with, nice and loose. Same process again here. Just sit that in place, screw that down a bit. So the two back ones are now on. Now what I want to do is put the soundbar on. Now, let's just slide that soundbar in position. Line it up to where I want it to be in terms of these vertical bars. So I can now see the lock nut that's inside the TV. And now I'm going to space again, put those spacers in between this bar and the soundbar bracket. And in doing so, I'm now attaching the bracket to the TV between the two. So I'm just going to slide this one. This is a little fiddly. But if you want to cheat, you can always run your little Phillips head screwdriver down there, make sure it's all nicely lined up. Slide that one again, and now just gently screw that one in place. And then we do the same thing with the final one. Put that in, line it up. Get that all nicely lined up there. And then we can again just gently screw that into place. It does take a little bit of fiddling around, but it doesn't take too long. Once I've done that, I'm now going to take my soundbar and I'm going to line that up to where I want it to be underneath here. Get it all nice and straight, and now I'm going to do up those wing nuts. Again, put a bit of pressure on the bar itself, both ends of it, and that allows that nut to be done reasonably tight. Do the same thing on the other side. So this whole process, I've done it live for you so you can see how long it takes, and this has taken so far, to tell you what I've done and how I've done it, it's taken a total of just over 5 minutes. So now retighten this all up. So you leave it loose so you can move it around if you need to. That's always a good practice when you're installing anything. Don't always install it, do it up tight, because if things aren't right, it leaves you very little room for being able to adjust it. So as I say, I did cheat a little bit, and I already had the bracket installed to make life a little easier. So now all I'm going to do is I'm going to discover that I haven't put that one in properly. Okay. I'm going to use this again as a guide. Get my hole nicely lined up. Don't judge me too hard, I am an old man after all. Done that up nice and tight. Okay. So now I'm going to attach this to the bracket that was already pre-scaled. So I'm assuming that a lot of you that will buy the soundbar are probably going to have your TVs already set up and ready to go in a similar scenario to what we've got there now. So there it is on the TV, and you can see actually it's not unattractive. It actually looks quite nice. So what we've got to do now is hook it all up. Now hooking it up again is relatively simple. It comes with this power adapter cable. So what we do is we take the power that would have gone to the TV. In this case, that's that socket there. I don't know if you can see that very well. That socket then goes into this one. And effectively all we're doing is we're splitting the power so that we can still go into our TV socket. So our power into our TV socket. And then the smaller of the two, and that's the one with the little yellow here, that actually goes into the soundbar power in. So now we've got power connected up that end. I might just put the power connections back up here onto the Caravan connections, making sure I put my cables around the right way. And then all we're left with is one further cable that it comes with. This cable goes into the earphone jack or the audio out on the TV. Just underneath there. And then the next one, that goes to the auxiliary out on your soundbar. And then all we're left to do is, in this case, attach our antenna lead. And we are ready to go. So there you are, it's all hooked up, ready to rock and roll. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn our TV on. In fact, I'm probably going to disconnect, I think, in the first instance. I think I'll disconnect the audio output. And the reason I do that is so that you can get an idea of the sound difference between the two. I might even wind up the antenna, so there we go, so we get a better reception. And I can turn up the volume on the TV. By pressing the volume up button. And now you're going to get an idea of what the sound's like. That gives you an idea of what the sound's like from the TV itself. Now this is no NCE TV, this is a Caravan TV that I'm doing this on. The sound is, well, yeah, really not the best, but I'm sure you can hear that. So I'm going to go the other way now. I'm going to turn this volume right down on the TV. So we've now got no volume coming out of this TV. I'm going to reconnect that plug into the sound jack. Getting past the brackets is a little tricky, but normally you wouldn't do it this way. You'd normally just plug that in, put it up, and you're not worrying, but we're testing the difference. So I'm now going to turn our soundbar on. So we're plugged in at the back. We've got the sound now running to the soundbar, and now we're going to test. So I've turned the sound right off on the TV. I'm going to turn the sound on the soundbar. So just to press the button, the light comes on. And now I'm going to start to put some volume back in the TV. So now the TV's operating through the soundbar. So it's an amplified sound. So you should now really be hearing the difference. It's just...
I told you to stop hunching your shoulders. You knew he wasn't talking about you. It's called a mirror, McGee.
It's phenomenal. We've actually got a bassy sound coming out of this TV that we can tune down. We can do it through here, or we can do it through there. And we've also got our remote. So now with our remote, I'm going to try something else. I'm actually going to press that on, turn the remote off. I'm now going to turn that on. I'm going to turn the TV off for this exercise.
Better be. We got a future.
So TV's now off, and I'm going to put it on to Bluetooth. So it's still on there, pressed on Bluetooth. I'm going to go to my iPhone, and I'm going to go to the Bluetooth settings on my iPhone and have a look and see. Okay, so it's come up with the NCE bar 12BT. I'm going to connect that up. Just make sure, oh no, sorry, the Bluetooth wasn't on. You see the blue flashing there now, which is telling me that's okay. So now I can connect the NCE bar, which it's already done straight away. Now we're going to play some music, and actually just because I really love these guys. If you don't love them, you got no taste. So let's have a listen to the Everly Brothers.
I think I'm gonna cry.
I was almost tempted to start singing then, but I want you to keep watching, so I won't. So let me just turn this off. Using the remote. Okay. So there you go. That's the unboxing. That's the installation, and then that's the actual sound test again. So how would I rate this soundbar? So that's a really, really interesting question. From an aesthetic point of view, it looks good. From an ease of installation, actually it's pretty easy to install. It connects up, no dramas. The Bluetooth works, no dramas. The quality of the sound is good. So what don't I like? Okay, what I don't like is that you've got to use that Y cable to connect power, which means this soundbar really isn't working well for me in the other areas that I would like it to use, unless it's actually hooked up to that sound. So I would have liked it to have come with its own power supply. I think it would become a lot more versatile. So I could actually use this soundbar away from the television. I could use it to play my music. I could put it up inside a cupboard or underneath a cupboard or something, making it a lot more versatile if it wasn't actually having to be attached there. And then I could just run a cable. So I could say put the soundbar up here, run a cable to it, but that Y splitter just makes that a little bit tricky and limits its use. So I think I would have liked a power supply to have come with it. Those brackets on the back of the soundbar, the way the screw goes on there, it looks like you should be able to attach that to a bracket that goes directly onto a wall, but you can't do that without a spacer. So I feel that lets it down a little bit. But all in all, I think they're a great product. I believe it's a very good value, and it certainly, as I've said previously, it eliminates the need to have speakers inside the Caravan or even speakers outside the Caravan. You can do it all in the one bar there. So a little bit of fiddling around with that installation, but again, pretty simple really. If you've got a Phillips screwdriver, you'll be able to install this soundbar and enjoy it. So NCE, if you're listening to me, I'm watching this right now, I've got to say, great little soundbar. In the meantime, thanks for listening, folks. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I hope it helps you make a decision on what to do in relation to your sound system in your Caravan.